For the first Super Bowl secret, we travel all the way back to Super Bowl number 1, where a hungover Green Bay Packers wide receiver becomes the Super Bowl hero. On the eve of Super Bowl number 1 in 1967, Green Bay Packers receiver Max McGee decided to break the curfew of the great head coach Vince Lombardi and set out to go drinking with 2 flight attendants. Now McGee, he had no intention of playing in the game. He was in his 11th year. He had only 4 catches all season, so he kind of knew what was going to happen in Super Bowl 1. The Super Bowl started, McGee took his place on the bench talking about his crazy night with his teammates, but during the first 3 snaps, Packers receiver Boyd Dowler re-injured his shoulder, forcing McGee to show up on the field, and boy did he. He scored the first ever Super Bowl touchdown and went on to catch 6 more passes for 138 yards and help the Packers win a Super Bowl. McGee became a legend in Green Bay, and you know why? Because he never got caught by his coach. And that's why there's really no proof that he ever even did that. So how about we keep it our little secret? Shh, don't tell nobody. The Gatorade shower. It's become one of the most common ways to celebrate sports.
He's done a brilliant job. The Seahawks are world champs. 2 seconds left as the Giants take over.
It's become a tradition in football victories, but where did it all start? The 1986 New York Giants were absolutely dominant, led by the league's most valuable player, linebacker Lawrence Taylor, and quarterback Phil Simms. The Giants went 14-2 throughout the season and won both of their playoff games by an average of 32 points. They did the same to the Broncos in Super Bowl 21 with a 39-20 victory, but most people remember what happened after the game. Giants head coach Bill Parcells quite literally tasted sweet victory, and he was doused by a Gatorade bucket. Now, for any other coach that has had to withstand that and deal with that throughout their career, you can thank the G-Men. Shh, don't tell nobody. Oh, welcome back. Listen, if someone were to ask you today which team has choked the most in the Super Bowl, you would instantly say the Buffalo Bills. They went to 4 consecutive Super Bowls in the 1990s and lost in all 4 of them. In Super Bowl 26, that's when it happened the worst. Running back Thurman Thomas and the Bills looked to bounce back from a heartbreaking loss to the Giants the previous year, but they didn't get off to the best start.
Kenneth Davis is in at running back, not Thurman Thomas. Let's see. Kelly goes back, wanted to hand the ball off, was left with nowhere to go, gets pounded at the 45, 46-yard line. Kenneth Davis was supposed to run the ball, which makes us ask, what's wrong with Thurman Thomas?
You know, I mean, this is the biggest game of your career, and you don't have your helmet when the game starts?
After the helmet saga, the Bills, no pun intended, didn't have their heads in the game. They went on to lose that one and then 2 more in the next coming years. So they cemented themselves as absolute choke artists in the Super Bowl. But hey, shh, don't tell nobody. The 1985 Chicago Bears, they were arguably the greatest team of all time. One of the reasons was because of the Super Bowl Shuffle. Now, if you weren't born in 1985 like me, actually I wasn't born in 1985, but regardless, the Super Bowl Shuffle, this right here.
You know we're just strutting for fun, strutting our stuff for everyone. We're not here to start no trouble. We're just here to do the Super Bowl Shuffle.
The Super Bowl Shuffle sold 500,000 copies and got all the way to number 41 on the Billboard Hot 100. Look, such antics would probably be bulletin board material for the opponent, right? Wrong. Apparently, the AFC champion Patriots didn't get the memo. They took a 3-0 lead and then got destroyed by a final score of 46-10, which at the time was the most lopsided final score in Super Bowl history. Shh, don't tell nobody. Super Bowl 30 will always be remembered as the last time John Elway hoisted the Vince Lombardi trophy. But there may be another underlying excuse as to why the Denver Broncos absolutely dismantled the Atlanta Falcons. The night before the Super Bowl, Falcons safety Eugene Robinson was arrested in Miami for soliciting an undercover police officer posing as a prostitute. Earlier that day, he had been given the Bart Starr Award, which is given to the player that best exemplifies outstanding character and leadership in the home, on the field, and in the community. Ironic, right? Robinson was still able to play in the game, but he admitted he didn't get much sleep that night. The Falcons ended up losing 34-19, and Robinson gave up an 80-yard touchdown. A Falcons player afterwards mentioned that the arrest had an impact on the entire team. He said that instead of thinking about winning, the team was thinking about Eugene. And instead of thinking about what was going to be happening in the game, they were thinking about Eugene. Now, listen, John Elway, there is really no excuse as to why the Broncos won, but hey, don't tell that to Broncos fans. Shh, don't tell nobody. Barrett Robbins was a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro in 2002, anchoring a strong Raiders offensive line. Inexplicably, he went missing for most of the day before the game after not taking his medication. When he finally showed up at the team hotel that evening, he was disoriented, and Bill Callahan left him off Oakland's roster. It had turned out Robbins had been partying in Tijuana, Mexico, thinking that the Raiders had already won the game. Needless to say, the Raiders didn't win that game. They got blown out 48-21, and Oakland hasn't been in the Super Bowl since. Maybe better luck in Vegas? Shh, don't tell nobody.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for watching our video, and if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe, and watch our other videos.
Pick 'em right there.